The first thing I remember isn't a birthday or a holiday. It's the sound of bone cracking when my brother shoved me down the stairs. I was 8. My wrist bent the wrong way, my vision blurred, and while I was gasping in shock, he was already rehearsing his tears. By the time our parents arrived, he was sobbing, swearing it was an accident. And me? I was grounded. That was the rhythm of our house. He played the saint. I carried the blame that he had the smile, the quick lies, the charm that melted every suspicion. I had the sharp edges, the tension, the label of too much. Too sensitive. Too emotional. Too loud. If he skipped class, it was boys being boys. If I cried, I was told I was making a scene. I learned early. My pain wasn't allowed to exist. By 13, silence became my only armor. I'd lock my bedroom door, drown myself in homework, music blasting through headphones, while he barged in whenever he wanted, taking things, laughing, walking away untouched. On birthdays, I unwrapped gift cards like pity prizes. He got parties, noise, the spotlight. And each year I shrank a little smaller until 17 when I packed 2 bags and walked out. No note. No plan. Just gone. No one followed. No one called. It was as if they'd been waiting for me to erase myself. I scraped by, friends' couches, part-time jobs, ramen dinners. It wasn't freedom, not yet. But it was survival. And survival was enough until the bottom fell out again. The hotel I cleaned for shut down overnight. One cold email, one last paycheck, not even enough to cover rent. My roommate packed her things and went back to her parents. I didn't have that option, so I bought a camper shell for the back of my truck. It stank of mold and leaked when it rained, but it was mine. I called my mother, asked if I could park in their driveway just for a few weeks. She hesitated, said the house was full, my brother and his wife had moved back in. The next day she texted, "Hope the truck bed's cozy." So I found a grocery store lot that didn't tow. I stretched meals out of a cooler, snuck power from church outlets, showered at a 24-hour gym. It was the lowest I'd ever been, but it also hardened me. I learned to sleep through sirens, to wake without fear. That leaky camper, mocked by them, was the first thing I ever truly owned. Work came through a warehouse job. The manager glanced at the camper on my truck and said nothing. I parked by the fence, invisible. As long as I lifted boxes and showed up early, no one cared where I slept. That routine saved me. Overtime shifts, Sunday mornings, cold nights softened by a space heater. Ron, the manager, let me plug in without asking for anything in return. Little by little I saved. New tires. Insulation. A gym membership just for the showers. And one day, a house listing taped to a break room wall. It wasn't much. Sagging steps, peeling siding. But it had walls and a roof that were mine. I signed the papers, spent every dollar I had, and cried in the parking lot. Not from sadness but relief. My first night I slept on the floor, wrapped in blankets, space heater buzzing, and it was the best sleep of my life. I parked the truck out back, covered the camper with a tarp. A reminder of how far I'd come. On a whim, I posted a photo of the porch light. Captioned it, "Built this life from the back of a truck." A few likes, some old coworker comments. Nothing more. Until 3 weeks later when they showed up. My brother, his wife, my parents. Standing on my porch like they'd been invited. They didn't ask. They just pushed inside, wandering my rooms like tourists. My mother smiled, running her fingers on the wall. "You've got a lot of space for just one person." My father studied the kitchen like he was already rearranging it. When they left, my brother lingered. "We should talk," he said. And the next day he returned, no knock, just walked in. Sat at my table, sipping coffee he didn't offer to share. "This place makes sense for us," he said. "Closer to my work. Good schools. You've got extra rooms. Miri's pregnant again. You could stay, obviously just not in the master. Maybe the small room. Or the camper. You were comfortable in there before." Something in me snapped. Not loudly, not violently, but clean. I stood, hands flat on the table, and said, "No." He blinked, confused. "What do you mean, no? You're not moving in. You're not taking what I bled for. You don't get to rewrite this story." He called me unreasonable. And for the first time in my life I wasn't. I reminded him of every silence I'd swallowed. My broken wrist, my stolen college fund. The years they left me behind a warehouse without caring if I survived. His smile faltered. He left without finishing his coffee. But 2 weeks later I came home and found the locks changed. His truck parked out front. Through the window, his wife was stacking boxes. They weren't moving in, they had moved in. He held up a forged lease with my fake signature scrawled at the bottom. My hand shook, but I filmed everything. The police came. My deed, my text, my Facebook post, all proof. They were dragged out, cursing, humiliated. I locked the door behind them and posted the video. Spread. Family I hadn't heard from in years messaged me. Now it makes sense. I always wondered why you disappeared. My parents showed up soon after. Julian's struggling, my mother said. You've made your point, my father added. For the family, can't you just let it go? I am doing this for the family, I said. The part that never tried to steal from me. They stared at me like strangers. And then one day the whispers started. His wife had been unfaithful. The timelines didn't match. A baby that wasn't his. A test that shattered what was left of his pride. She left. He moved back with my parents, hollow broken. And one evening he came back, not to demand, not to threaten. He stood at the bottom of my steps, voice low. It's not for me, he said. It's for my son. He can't sleep at mom and dad's. Too loud. Too crowded. He needs quiet. I looked past him at the camper under the tarp. The same one that kept me alive when no one else would. I told him he could have it in the yard. Rules. Boundaries. Written down, signed. He agreed that I watched his kids play soccer in the grass, draw chalk flowers on my driveway. And one night, I found him inside the camper, shoulders shaking. I ruined everything, he whispered. I let them ruin you. I didn't touch him. I didn't forgive. I just let him say it. Days passed. My parents came once more. No excuses. Just tired eyes, and for the first time. We were wrong. You didn't deserve it. They didn't ask for anything in return that night. I sat on my porch, the house glowing softly behind me, the camper in the yard, children's laughter still clinging to the grass. Not joy. Not anger. Just stillness. For once, silence wasn't punishment. It was mine. And I'll ask you this, if the people who were supposed to protect you once tried to break you, would you ever open your door again? Or would you, like me, finally learn that sometimes the only way to keep peace is to guard the key to your own home?